Hey guys, it's Philip, and this is my first video interview for our blog Star Trek, and I'm really happy to welcome Harper, a band from UK that will be starting this series with us. So maybe first question or topic is like, in few words, try to introduce what is Harper, or
Perfect.
where are you from? What do you do besides music? And
Okay, cool. And thank you so much for having us on. This is so cool for like having our first video interview. It's very surreal for us. So yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be the first of the series. Harper. I suppose we started making music last year, but we didn't start releasing music till this year. We lived together with a couple from Leicester in the UK. And yeah, we best describe our sound. We came up with a tagline "Countryside Blur," but I don't know if we were trying to think of a better way to describe ourselves. But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, bedroom sound, and the countryside element. We wouldn't consider ourselves a country band, but it's just more like the imagery and the stuff that we use. Like, we're really like kind of big into our nature, and like all our videos and photos are all like got trees everywhere. Outside work, I'm a nurse.
I'm a teacher.
So we try and balance that in with doing the music, and we have to remember we have to go to work because we just love making the music. But yeah, that's us in a short sentence, I suppose.
so maybe an obvious question, like, how did you come up with the name? Because I was searching you on Spotify and I noticed there are more bands like this. Was it?
I think we probably, on reflection, maybe we should have maybe misspelt the name or something like that. But no, it originally started because I really love one word band names, and there's a band called Whitney, and I just love the name Whitney. I was like, that's such a good name for a band. So then I said to Sadie, when we first decided we were going to make music, I was like, right, we need a girl's name that's one word, and obviously not Whitney. And then you just pulled it up on your phone, didn't you? I wish there was a more like romantic, like amazing story, but it was literally just
searching.
And you said it. You said Harper, and like we both looked at each other like, yeah. And we've never, other than maybe misspelling the name or giving ourselves a bit more of a, like, because there's quite a few Harpers, we've never regretted the name.
No,
so we've done good, because I was worried when we released our first song. I was like, I know what I'm like. We'll release our first song and then we'll come up with a better name. But we've settled on it for now. So yeah, that's how we came up with it. Just really liked Whitney, and I thought, well, I can't use that because it's already a band. So came up with another one.
Cool. And what have you inspired to start making music? Like, what was the reason behind it?
Do you want me to go, or what do you think?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, like, I'd always, for me, so Sadie's a music lover and I'm a music lover, but I'm more the one that like plays an instrument. Sadie obviously sings, but yeah, I think because we're both 26 now, I think turning 25, I'd always like been in little kind of bands but never released anything, and I realized if I don't do it now, I never will. And I'd always wanted to do it either on my own or with Sadie, and then I thought, yeah. And well, I think being 25, there was a lot of things. And then Hardy's record, True Love, came out last year, and we're big, massive Hardy fans. And that record just like really hit me. It came at the right time. And then Fog Lake, I found his song Jitterbug. I'd already liked some of his stuff, but then that song just like hit me. And then I was like discovering his music again. And I think the mixture of that with being 25, realizing if I don't make music now, I never will. And them two records, and then two bands, and I just came home to Sadie and I was like, I'm going to make music. And then I asked Sadie to do it with me, and she was a bit like, oh, I don't know, because I don't play an instrument. But I was like, you've got a nice voice. And we didn't know we knew what Harper, like before obviously it was called Harper, we knew what the sound was going to be. We hadn't written anything, but we thought, well, we've got to do something. So yeah, we just went from there. A kind of impulse moment.
Cool. What about you, like Sadie? It was hard to get on the train, or it was like pretty natural?
Not natural, no, but I think I knew it was something that Matt had always wanted to do. And if I could help in any way, then I just thought, oh, why not just try? Like, even if I try and we don't like it or whatever, then we don't have to do anything with it, but it was worth a try. And
I kind of begged you, because I love male female vocal. There's a band we used to listen to called Night Harvest, and then the guy Ben, he went into another band called Luxury Death, and they only ever released like 5 or 6 songs, and it was a male female. And from ever then I was like, male female. If I'm ever going to be in a band again, it's male female.
And then Alex G does a bit of that.
Yeah, Alex G with the male female stuff. So I just love the way that voices like sit together. So Sadie didn't really have a choice, because I'd just keep telling you now.
Big favour.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, and you won't let me forget it. No, I'm joking. But I was like, I really, and you
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you told me that you would rather do music than work. So what keeps you like kind of still inspired or still doing the music? What is it in the music?
So I'll speak on this one. I think for both of us, like, we're really lucky that where we live, even though we're like in a city, we're really, really close to the countryside. And like with other bands, take Howdy for example, like they've got like a lot of Texas imagery and stuff like that. So we're really fortunate that like what we genuinely get inspired by is something that is like right by. So for example, like if we were inspired by the sea, we live quite far away from the sea, so it'd be a bit difficult, and maybe Harper would be harder to do. Because we can literally just drive out 10 minutes and we're in the countryside, that's what keeps us going. It's kind of that reset for us. Like we always go away, like for some of the new stuff on our new EP, we've filmed stuff again out in nature, and it was just a nice reset, wasn't it? That's what keeps us kind of doing it, I think, because the thing that we're inspired by to make it is so close to us that there's kind of no excuse to not go 10 minutes up the road. So we're very fortunate, I think, that what we're inspired by is literally right next to us.
Talking about your music, so I know that you are planning a reissue with my favorite label, Devil Town Tapes, of the Hope EP, and you are also working on a new one. So how did that happen? Like, how did you come up with idea to release music with Devil Town Tapes, or just like do reissue and then work maybe for future with them?
Well, we were recommended Devil Town by just a guy on Instagram. He just messaged us, said that he thought our sound would fit really well. So we followed them on Instagram, Devil Town on Instagram, and they were like the perfect kind of label that we were looking for, weren't they? Like, they're from the UK and they do like, we liked some of the stuff that we heard. We just followed them, we're liking their stuff, and then Jack messaged us on Instagram, just said like, liking what you do, would like to reissue your first EP. So
on cassette, and we massive. And obviously Z tapes, we're obsessed with Z tapes. We always love Z tapes. We love cassettes. Like, I mean, I love all physical formats. If anyone wants to put us out on any other format, that's great. But cassettes are the one, like 100%. Like, we love cassettes, obsessed with them. So to have it on cassette as well. I mean, if it had been on any format, we'd be so honored. But that is the best format. There's something you know as cassettes. Just there's something magical about cassettes. So we were so honored.
I've been doing it for so long that I start to kind of feel like it's a normal thing, that
Z tapes, you're OG. You've been going for a long time.
So but definitely for me is always like, when I'm purchasing music, it's on cassettes. Mostly space wise is much better. I can have also price wise is still relatively okay. So for me it's always a better choice. And so funny story is, like, I was writing to Jack that he should release your music, and he told me, I'm doing it already.
God bless you. Thank you for the thought, because
basically I was thinking the same, that your sound fits the label aesthetic pretty well, so another fan, thanks to him to recommending it, because it's true, you will fit well there. And
thank you.
Do you have like some other plans with Devil Town for future?
Not anything concrete with Devil Town yet. Obviously our current EP is kind of in the mid-release phase, so we've kind of said potentially maybe release Spider on Devil Town, which would be cool. But no concrete plans moving forward, but who knows, who's to say. And we're just, I mean, for us, having that physical release, you know, as an artist, to hold it in your hand when we never ever thought we'd have any physical release, that alone was just like, yeah, that was a real, yeah, we had to kind of have a moment to be like, wow, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Basically, you have been doing music for a short time, like relatively, but how do you find it so far, like the response from fans or overall feeling on your side?
Yeah, ridiculous. Like, I think when we first did Harper, I just said to Sadie, and I remember saying it, I was like, and at that point we thought we'd maybe do Harper for like a couple of years. I said to her, if one person who we don't know says one nice thing about one song that we release, that's it. Like, we're happy. We'd set the bar super, super low.
Yeah.
So to have people reach out to us and leave really nice comments, and yeah, it you know, and yourselves and like people that we've looked up to, yourselves on Z Tapes and Angie, and then Devil Town, and then Bennett, Little John, and Edsel Holden. Like, yeah, it's such a surreal feeling. I think we in a way, like we sometimes we've tried to like remember what we're doing it for, because you can get so carried away with like people liking it that we don't want to then one day like release something and no one listen to it and then go, okay, let's stop, because
that's not why you started in the first place.
But it is such like a reason to keep doing it at the same time, because it's just people like vibing with your music, something that you've made. And often when we make these songs, before we send them to Bennett for a mixing engineer, we're the only two people who've heard it. So we're kind of looking at each other like, is this song all right? Like, we don't have anyone really to like bounce it off to be like, is this okay? So yeah, people fan interaction so far has just been, not, I don't want to say fan, because you know, we're still very, very, but you know what I mean? People, kind words people saying about music is just amazing. It means so much to us.
I'm glad to hear that. And I was checking your Instagram and I saw that you're trying to convey some aesthetics. Like, where does it came from, or what is the inspiration for that? Even for the videos, because they are quite special.
Thank you. Yeah, we like, I think for me, I'm a massive, well, we're both massive horror fans. But like we don't, so like with our newest song Swan Face, we kind of turned it up a notch and was like, right, we're just going to be we're going to have like spooky video. But we definitely we like to be pretty sounding and pretty looking, like imagery, but then underneath have that little bit of a horror, unsettling kind of twist, so to speak. So yeah, we definitely pull a lot of like the imagery from the countryside mixed with like an indie horror, like Blair Witch. There's a recent A24 film called Men, which is really strange because I love that film, and it's set in the English. Have you seen it?
No.
So it's set in the English countryside, put out by A24, who put out like Hereditary and all these big horror films. And the main character is called Harper, which is really strange because it's like, I like literally when I seen the trailer, I couldn't shut up about the film. I was like, this is set in the countryside. It's creepy. That's like my favorite film going. Like, and she was called Harper, which is strange. But that was not the same. That would have been a good name, a good reason to say why we chose the name. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of the things. But no, thank you to say that you like the videos as well, because we do really like making the video. We love making the videos. They're so fun to make.
Yeah. So you are making yourself everything, right?
Yeah. We shoot them all ourselves. We shoot them on there's an app on iPhone called like VHS camera or whatever. We just shoot it all on that.
Okay, I haven't heard that. Okay, that's cool. And what about like lyrics and like the inspiration for that? Like, where does it is it the same, or is it completely from different source?
I think so. I write the lyrics, and I think we've said I'm trying to become more conscious. Like Swan Face was a lot more conscious. A lot of the time it is as simple as like I just have like a sound of the way that it should sound, like I don't know, like an A sound or an E sound, and then I just run with that. So when I first start out, I think with a song I don't know what it's going to be about, but then by the end I'm like, okay, let's try and make things connect together. So like Headlock wasn't originally, I just had I Saw You Look at Me, and that was it. I had nothing else, and then it kind of turned into a song about like falling out with someone and then remembering that you still friends or whatever. But yeah, I think moving forward, like for our next project, hopefully we try thinking of doing an album, but we do want it to be more conscious, like the lyrics be. But I don't know, because I'm really bad at lyrics, so I don't know. Like I might give it up halfway through and be like, no, I'm just going to stick to what I used to do, where I just come up with a line and then just try and make things rhyme off that until I'm finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because like, for example, I really got hooked on the headlock, the repeating lines, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
And so even on Instagram you talk that headlock, the single, and the Swan Face single are kind of opposite, like on the opposite sides. Like, how did idea came up, like having two songs that are like completely opposite or like different, like where that idea came from?
Want to go on that one, or do you want?
You wrote it.
Okay. So like, it's weird, like some of the things were consciously mirrored and some weren't. So like it being like, this is really stupid, but like both songs are 8 letters long, they're both 2 minutes 56, but that was pure accident. But then like the whole thing of like yeah, I think like sometimes I try and think of songs in like colors or like a weather wise. So I was like, Headlock's really like bright and orange and like hazy, whereas I want Swan Face to be dark and synthy, and like Swan Face I wrote on synth and then made it into then put the guitars on, whereas I normally write most songs with guitar. So yeah, like I think we've always like had this thing. So like on Hope, we sometimes like reference song lyrics, we reference like other songs. So like in Today we say I know it'll always be us now, and that's a reference to us now. So we've liked to kind of do that thing where we're trying to be clever, but it's not really that clever, but we're like trying to be clever. We're like, oh, we'll reference as one of our songs in another song. So I think with that one, it was more like, let's do that again, but not in the songs themselves, but rather have them both come out and one be bright and one be dark, which was like, that's why when we, with our Instagram, like we really changed everything for the release of Swan Face because I was so anxious. I was like, I don't want people to as much as we love that song, we didn't want people to think, oh my god, they just make synth songs now, because it was like we just really wanted to just do a completely different shift to see if we could do it as well. Like it was more just to see if we could do it, like because we didn't know if we could. So yeah, like I don't know if that answers the question, but
it does. And what about like the new EP? Is it something that you are thinking more like as a concept, or is it like, okay, we will do a couple of, I don't know, singles together and then just release it under one EP? Or yeah, what's the plan with that?
Definitely like a more of a concept, would you say?
Yeah.
I think like, so our first EP Hope was more, can we do this? That was the point of it, was like more, can we just can we make 4 songs and put them on a thing?
Bit of a taste, see what you get back.
Whereas Spider, we've tried to be more like, let's just do different things on a release and make them and just see what works and what doesn't. So we've got Swan Face, which is like a really, really synthy song. And then we've got like the 4th song, Cruel, is much more, which isn't out yet, is much more guitar. It's a very, very guitar song. Like lots of, think like Wyatt Smith, Alex G kind of thing. And then we've got like Indigo, which is the 3rd single to come out, which has got more like drum and bassy, not drum and bass, but it's got like dance drums elements. So yeah, I think this EP still, the concept, I suppose, is that we're experimenting more a bit on this one, whereas we played it quite safe on Hope. We love Hope, but we played safe on that, whereas this one we're being a bit more, I mean, Swan Face for us anyway, it's not experimental, but for us it was like it was very experimental for us, because it felt uncomfortable, but in a good way, like to push yourself into that area.
Cool. So what are your like future plans with this music? Like, do you want to play shows, or do you want to really definitely release more music, but like in overall, like what do you see the future of Harper?
I know you'd really like to do like play live, but
I really want to play. Sadie's a bit nervous.
I'm a bit nervous about that, but
understand.
but we'd just have to figure out the arrangement for that, wouldn't we? Like I only sing, so I can't play any instruments, so and I'd
at best would only be able to do a guitar and singing at the same time. I wouldn't be able to do a one-man band kind of playing the drums behind my back. But we we want like a fuller arrangement, even if we just use like looped elements and not loop, but you know what I mean, like loops and like pre-recorded stuff. So we want to do that next year. But we also, we think we want to do like the first album and just like, so we can finish one day and say we did an album. But yeah, we definitely, I think the main plan is album, writing more, because the thing is, between Hope and Spider, I didn't really, first 2 EPs, we didn't really take a break to write stuff. We were just kind of, we literally finished Hope and I was like, right, I need to do more. Like, I can't take a break, because if I take a break, then people aren't going to listen, and you might want to keep the momentum going. So we didn't really sit down and write anything. We just kind of wrote as we went along, and then took stuff that we hadn't used and like so on and so forth. Whereas I think this time we want to take a bit of time to sit down and try and write something and have it feel more cohesive. Like we were saying earlier, more about like the lyrics and stuff, and try and come up more with a proper concept, and then play live as well, because it'd be really cool to play live.
Cool. So you've been doing for a while. So what was for you, maybe both, you can say for each one of you, was the hardest thing to overcome, or most challenging part of doing music?
You want to do yours? Yours is a bit different to mine.
For me, it was like, I've never done this before. I suppose having my voice to be heard, that was just quite scary for me. That was probably my challenge.
And same for me, to be fair, but I think to make mine a bit different, I suppose, I think maybe when you make music, like no one's going to listen to it when you first put it out, and that's like, you're okay with that. You're like, I'm okay, I'll put it out. But then by the time you've like finished the video and you've done the artwork and you've got this thing that you've been like obsessing over for 2-3 months, and you put it out there, and like, understandably people don't listen to it. I think like that was the hardest thing, because it's like, it's not that people are like actively not listening to you, it's just releasing your music to the wild. It's so difficult, like it's so hard. So I think that was the hardest thing, to kind of pick yourself back up and be like, right, just keep going. And that's why I think moving forward, like we'd said, we as overwhelmed and like so happy we are with the amount of like love people give us, we have to be like, to protect ourselves, I think we've got to just be inner focused and be like, right, we've got to release this and not care if anybody listens to it, because otherwise you just stop, don't you? Because it's such a difficult game to just get people to listen to your music, because there's so much music out there, and there's so much music worth listening to. And even me as a music listener myself, I don't have all the time in the world to listen to half the stuff I want to listen to. So I think for me, definitely just being okay with people not listening to your music, because you think you're okay with it until you like release it, and then you're like, oh my god, you kind of, it's your baby, you know what I mean? You're like kind of attached to it.
And one thing I wanted to ask, I know that you've been using SamiHub, and there is always a lot of fuss around that platform. How do you find the SamiHub so far for you?
SamiHub, I've found it like, I think it's one of them things like, you definitely just have to go for it. Like I think when we did Heavy Fog, I think I sent to like 3 people. So it's like, you do need to just, you've got to be okay with like people just not rejecting your music. You've just got to accept, you've got to be okay with that. And I found it really good, because I mean, we send it to a lot of people, and you're going to get a lot of people say no, but like yourselves and others have like said yes, and it's worth, if you send it to 20 people and one person says yes, I think it's, for us, it's worth it. So it's a big way we promote our music. Otherwise, because if that didn't exist, I think you can do it, but it's so hard to be heard. Do you know what I mean? So it's this cycle of this EP, I'm much more like, oh, okay, like I get what I'm doing here. Because I think before I was very like conservative in the amount of submits that I did, whereas now I'm just like sending it off, like just sending it to everyone. So
cool, because I know that some bands are really struggling to accept the fact that they will be rejected.
And it is difficult as well. Like, and I think, I'd be honest, that's probably why I was very reserved to begin with, because I probably deep down was like, I don't want people to say no. Whereas now I'm just like, I've just got to I've had to accept I've got to get used to it. Otherwise I'll never get my music out there, or our music out there.
Yeah, Cool. And maybe I wanted to ask more about your personal lives. Like how is the living in UK right now for you, or what's your like kind of thing besides music? What do you enjoy doing?
What would you say for it? But I think for us, like, because Harper takes up a lot of our time, like friends and family, I think like it's quite not like if we're not doing Harper, we're either at work or seeing friends and family, isn't it? So it's nice. It's like, yeah, definitely.
But it's nice to have this thing, like this artistic thing to be doing as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know like what I'd do without it now. Like I know what I used to do. I used to do nothing, but you know what I mean? Like and like Sadie, she's obviously we do the music together and we both love Harper, but Sadie's thinking maybe this year of doing like, she was really into pottery and stuff. You speak, I don't want to speak for
her. That's what I did at uni. I did pottery at uni. So I think seeing like you put your heart into something, and it's making me really want to just like give it a go, just make pots and see what happens.
Sadie will have more stuff to do than me because you'll have Harper, seeing friends, work, and doing your pottery. So you're going to be very, very busy. So yeah, no. And for us, I think like living in the UK, I think like it's got like its benefits and its downsides in the sense of we're really inspired by like the British countryside and stuff like that. But then I sometimes think like we have like quite an American audience, so it's like that's a bit, you know what I mean? Like, but
sometimes we're like, I wish we were just over there. We could
we could like
connect more with
well, like Bennett, who we're working with in Edsel, they're American, so it's like we could just go over and like sit with them and go through mixes, but it's like it is what it is. But I think if we were in America, would we be inspired by the same thing? Probably not. So Harper would only exist in the UK. So yeah,
I have to remind myself always about this, that the place where I am is kind of making me or the things what I'm doing the way I'm doing it. So it's like even whatever I was doing before, even my blog would be much different when I was doing it, for example, in USA. And it makes it even more interesting. And I think it works even for you as a band from UK approaching someone in States than being a band in USA trying to reach to US fans.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like with the, you know, it's been said a million times, but like with the internet now, it's so everyone can just kind of connect online. So it's, whereas like back in the day, it would have been virtually impossible to get any of these opportunities. So
cool. Maybe just like one last question. That's
definitely
like one of my 3 favorite ones I always ask on my blog. If anything was possible, what would you dream to do, or what would you choose to do, or even like it can be anything?
Mine would be it's very selfish, probably to work with Andrew Sarlo. We've already ticked off working with Bennett and working with Edsel Holm and Bennett Littlejohn, but for me, working with Andrew Sarlo, is that really selfish? If I could do anything or dream of anything, it would just be to work with Andrew Sarlo. Who's the engineer who's worked for like Howdy and Big Thief and stuff like that.
I don't know, make pots all day.
Cool. Maybe Harper will have own pots as a merch.
We actually spoke about that. I think that would be so. I love when bands do stuff like that, when they have like really strange merch, and you're like, that's so cool. Yeah, let's do it. Like I'd be so up for that. Yeah, get your Harper like flower pots and mugs and whatever.
Yeah, perfect. Or horror pots.
Yeah, that's what I like that.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. This was a pleasure. I'm glad we could kick off our first video interviews for Star Trek, and I'm so excited for your new music. I'm excited for everything you will do in future, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully we'll see maybe sometimes a live show in Europe, or maybe I will travel to UK to see you. So
it'd be an honor, be an absolute honor. Seriously, big love.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your time, and
thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers.